Split is the newest film directed and written by M. Night Shyamalan. And, it's a psychological thriller. And I really think that it's a true return to form for M. Night. Because it is an excellent movie that I absolutely loved.
Who is that? Maybe she can help us.
We're here! Help us! We're in here!
Don't worry. He's not allowed to touch you. He knows what you're here for. He listens to me.
So it stars James McAvoy in really his best role yet, I think, as a character with dissociative identity disorder, or DID. And, he plays, like, his character has, like, 23 personalities. But you mainly see him portray, like, 6 personalities, kind of, maybe 7. And basically, the movie starts out where he kidnaps these 3 girls, and for some ill-fated purpose. And, the girls... The main girl is excellent, the actress, and it's Anya Taylor-Joy, and she was in The Witch, and she's the main girl in that, and she's really good. And she was also decent, at least, or interesting in Morgan. And they also have, like, she has a young version of herself, played by Izzy Leigh Coffey. And the other 2 girls are played by Haley Richardson and Jessica Sula. And they're kind of, like, they don't play as much of a role as the other woman, but they're still pretty decent. As a whole, I mean, the acting is pretty good in this film, especially from the main characters. Like, some of the side characters are a little goofy, and especially M. Night himself, because he pops up in one scene, and he's just not a very good actor. But, yeah, there's also starring Betty Buckley as Dr. Karen Fletcher. And if you don't know, she's the old lady in The Happening that was, like, really weird. And, like, talking about, you and I'm a lemonade. And, but she delivers a really good performance here. And it's really interesting how, like, the movie is really in 3 parts. Basically, you have, the kidnapped girls that are trying to figure out, what position they're in and how to survive or how to get out and who the hell this guy is. And then you have James McAvoy going to the doctor, and that's the other main part of the story. And the third part of the story is flashbacks for Anya Taylor-Joy's character, where you get to see kind of who she is, like, and why she is the way that she is. And it creates a really, really nice film, which how they all kind of intertwine. And because, if you have the whole movie as just the girls, at some point it get, like, boring or get a little overwhelming. But when it kind of when the scenes keep switching, it keeps really, everything's really fresh. And this film is really shot beautifully. Like, there's a lot of interesting cinematography and a lot of interesting shots. But, like, you'll get, like, it's a really different angle when they're, like, going up and down stairs and have, like, a beautiful ceiling. Or they'll get, like, really interesting shots, like A and B shots. The edits are great, where, James McAvoy's character will be doing something really weird. And then they'll cut to one of the girls' faces, and she'll just be, like, terrified, or you see, like, a tear streak down, and it's, like, almost too close, some of the close-ups. But they hold, the close-up they hold it for, again, almost a tiny bit too long, but then you kind of go back, and you kind of see, like, what they're thinking and what they're feeling as they're experiencing what this James McAvoy's crazy character is doing. And he really goes for it. Like, this movie could have easily been, like, really over the top and really corny and really bad. But James McAvoy, he puts, like, the performance of his life. Like, I mean, if it wasn't so early in the year, when the Oscar movies are still coming out, I think he could be up for an Oscar. I mean, I don't know, it's not a kind of movie that would normally be honored. But, I mean, I think he deserves some recognition for his role. I mean, there are so many scenes where he just like does like he really sinks into his characters. Like each one is different. Like it really looks like he's a different person. It's like the way he carries himself, like his carriage and the structure and how he talks and like his eyes. And it's really every character is very obviously different. And you even get some characters which are playing other characters, like in them, like pretending to be a different identity when he's talking to the doctor. That the scenes are just great. So I've avoided talking about spoilers so far, but at a certain point to talk about the movie, you kind of have to get into like things about the story which would spoil it for other people. And this is the kind of movie that I almost wish I'd never even seen a trailer for it. So because the trailer does like spoil some things, but if you want to, if you haven't seen the movie and want to go into it as fresh as possible, stop the review now because I definitely recommend it. And I give it like a 9.25 out of 10, or maybe a 9.5 out of 10. Let's see how it rewatches, like how it holds up. But I absolutely loved it, and I would highly recommend it. Especially for fans of psychological thrillers, but also fans of good movies. So, spoilers from now on. I'll go into slightly small spoilers to then huge spoilers. So, like in the trailers, you get the beast. I'm trying to say it with like he does, but that's an interesting part of the movie, and I think that it might lose some people when it goes from like a psychological thriller where the guy is just crazy to a supernatural thriller where he does turn into something other. And at certain points of the film, like the doctor is talking about DID, where there's almost like a next evolution of humanity that they can change their body chemistry, each personality. And like I thought that was cool, but at some time the way she was talking, almost like it was over the top. Like it was a little bit unreal, like a little bit like bigger than it really is. And that was like interesting watching that. And then when he actually does become the monster, the beast, it turns into a different movie. And I was in it all the way. Like I loved it. But I know I talked to some other people and they didn't love that turn of the film. Like they prefer more the psychological thriller. And you can see why, but everything is kind of made up. Like if any reservations you might have had about it is made up by the reveal at the end of the film, where basically this whole film has been an introduction to a supervillain. And you see that at the end of the movie when all of a sudden they play the music from Unbreakable, and the TV is talking about Mr. Glass, like from 15 years ago, being still locked in prison. And then you see Bruce Willis like in the diner watching the TV, and it's like mic drop, and it's like, oh shit, like that the whole film kind of takes on a different angle. Because it's not just a psychological thriller, it's an introduction to a superhero villain. And it's really cool. It makes more sense why some of the things were over the top. But it still is great on a movie by its own. Like, if you hadn't seen Unbreakable, it'll still be a great movie, but it has a lot of things. If you love Unbreakable, like, this will be a really cool thing. Like, I know they were like, whoa, and in the theater there were like kind of exclamations from the crowd for people that knew it. But also there's also interesting things. Like I was expecting more of a twist with Anya's character. Because it's Shyamalan, so I think that maybe she has DID as well. And I was going through, I was looking for hints about stuff. And there really weren't any because I thought maybe like all the characters it's just her. And it's like, no, they're talking to each other. They're talking to him. No, that wouldn't work. And I kept looking for a twist like that, and there really wasn't a twist. And it's kind of like almost like a misdirection a little bit. But also, I really liked how her character was developed, because you got to see, why she is more calm in this horrible situation, because her uncle has been raping her for years. And like some of the cinematography, like for in the flashbacks, like it's really interesting. Even I think in the present too, where like she's holding the gun to the uncle and thinking about trying to kill him, and you see like it's almost like from her perspective, and it almost looks like a normal shot. But then you'll see the barrel of the shotgun at the bottom of the screen, and that's really interesting how they filmed that. And it has a lot of really interesting ways of saying, that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And, in reality, even though that's true, it can give you scars that will affect your life for the rest of your days. But it's it's an interesting idea where she like he's trying, like the James McAvoy is saying that people that are damaged are better, they're stronger, they're like more than other humans. And it's an interesting way of saying that even the trauma, you can work through it and it can create a stronger person. And the way the movie ends, where the cop comes and like your uncle is here to pick you up, and you see her go, oh, with like it's she doesn't even have to say anything. You see the emotion in her face, where she's going from one monster to another, and you hope that she is strong enough now to have this guy arrested. You have her uncle arrested, or if you're not, just to go home and blow his brains out. But he's probably better if he's arrested, and he'll be punished in jail. But it's really a excellent film that I want to see again. That is, I really not much I'd change about it. Like I absolutely loved it. I highly recommend that everyone see it. So thanks for watching. And you can check out my other movie and book reviews here and here. Thanks.